Yeah. Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your boy, John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go back at you with another one. My boys, Vladimir and Barry. What's good, y'all?
Yo, what's up?
Hey, fellas, what's happening? We're here on to episode 37, ready for another exciting and fun show. So let's
episode
get it.
37. Who's at 37?
We got Damian Harris.
Damian Harris, yep. Okay.
Yep, Patrice Bergeron of the Bruins.
Patrice Bergeron. Mm-hmm.
Got Rodney Harrison, the Hall of Famer.
What number was Sean Alexander?
37, that's right.
That's my guy,
good
Sean Alexander,
good
yo.
one. Yep, throwing it
Yeah.
back. Cool.
You know what I mean? Woody had that touchdown record for a while, right?
He did.
He had like 29.
Yeah, something like that. Yep, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, man. But
Yep, shout out to all the 37. So that's another good number.
You already know, man. As always, please follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, profans_sport. We're on Twitter.com/profansports, Facebook.com/profansports. And if you like to watch, we're on YouTube.com/profansports. And that's where you make sure to press that subscribe button, that share button, that like button. Please make sure you're liking that video because it helps us out. And as always, we drop every Tuesday at 8 o'clock, every Tuesday on all platforms, all podcast platforms. So that's Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, whatever you like. And our videos drop every Wednesday. So, get our followers up, man. So please press that subscribe button. And as always, we're going to be hitting up the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, some NHL, E-Money Lifestyle, some soccer. You know what we do on the show. And we're going to be talking some boxing today too, man. That's a little different, But let's get on to the NFL. We talking Patriots, man. First off, let's start off with some news. We had some bad news from last week. Rex Burkhead is expected to miss the remainder of the season. He got injured in the game last week. Isaiah Wynn was placed on injured reserve, so he'll be out for at least 3 weeks. And defensive tackle Carl Davis suffered a concussion and will miss a minimum of 3 games. And I think that was like his second concussion in like 3 weeks or something like that. So that's why that's happening. But I think today's a more exciting day than last week because we just came off a win. What was the game? 20-17.
Yes, sir.
Patriots beat the Cardinals on Sunday. As always, we'll do a little recap. So what did you guys see? Why do you think we won the game? And who do you think pretty much helped us win the game?
It was a really good game by the Patriots, especially defensively. We made a really key stop before the half. A goal line stand right before the half, which was awesome. The Patriots were really good in the end zone. We made another goal stop that was negated by a couple of flags, unfortunately. But as far as defensively, I think we did a good job slowing the powerful Cardinals offense down. Kyler Murray had an okay game, but I know he had a shoulder injury, so he didn't get to run as much. DeAndre Hopkins didn't have as much as an effect as he usually does. I mean, he caught a couple of balls, but not nearly the effect that he usually has on the game. So I thought defensively we had a good game. Cam Newton threw a couple interceptions. Obviously, that's not good, but he played okay enough for us to win, right? You know what I mean? So I'm just happy that we won that game. And like I told you guys last week, one game at a time, we're gonna win 6 games straight. So one game at a time, you know what I mean? This is win number 1. All right. All right.
It is game number 1. I mean,
Win number 1.
I don't think any of us chose the Patriots to beat the Cardinals, but Barry, what'd you think? What'd you see out there?
So I think this game was pretty much all about the defense. I think this was the best game defensively that they had this season. The defense played extremely hard and played their asses off, and they competed. And they executed. You know, they brought pressure, unlike last week when they didn't bring any pressure and gave Deshaun Watson all day to throw. They got some pressure on Kyle Murray, hurried him, made him uncomfortable, and throw earlier than what he wanted to. And I think they did a decent job against the running game. The Cardinals had some good runs, but you know, they did a good job against the running game, and then they, you know, did a good job against the receivers. They were without little Larry Fitz, you know, who's one of their big targets, you know, for him. And it's crazy that he missed this game without, you know, first game in 6 years due to COVID. But, I mean, they still have other guys that can make plays, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, even Kenyon Drake's good in the passing game. And I mean, for the most part, they were able to hold those guys in check, and they did, you know, a good job on not letting too many big plays happen down the field, and really let the Cardinals just push the ball and you know, and score points that way. You know, particularly once they got into the red zone, I thought they did a good job of really, you know, tackling better and, you know, forcing them to, you know, really earn every yard they get. There were really not too many missed tackles that I saw today from them. And so, yeah, I was definitely happy and pleased with what I saw from the defense. Like, they're the reason why we won this game. Offensively, I wasn't too happy with what I saw, particularly with Cam Newton. I thought this was one of the worst games he's had this season, and he was absolutely terrible today. He, you know, didn't play well. Both of those interceptions were really bad, particularly the first one. You know, I thought his parking presence was terrible, you know, today. And, you know, he just didn't, you know what I'm saying, like, look comfortable and didn't really throw the ball, you know, well at all today. Luckily, they were able to get the running game going. I thought they ran the ball effectively when they needed to, and I thought, you know, Damian Harris made some key runs as well as James White with those 2 touchdowns. So I think that's really the only thing they did well, you know, was run the football, since the passing game really wasn't much of a factor and, you know, didn't do too much today. So I'm glad that they were able to pull this one out and find a way to win and grind this, you know, game out despite of the penalties and the offense not playing well.
Yeah, facts, man. I think we saw a gritty. That was a gritty win. You know what I'm saying? I think for us to succeed for the rest of the season, that's exactly those games. We're gonna have to win those games. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we're in it. You know, Lawrence Guy. You know, that goal line stance. He helped us get right there with the linebacker. I forgot who that was. Maybe that was Bentley. I don't know. Or Therese Hall or somebody that came in there, and you just couldn't see. You couldn't see who was that. Edmonds at the goal line. You couldn't see if he crossed the
I think that was Kenyon Drake.
Was that Drake? Yeah.
It was Kenyon Drake.
You couldn't see if he broke the plane or anything like that, and I'm glad, because, you know, I felt like he did, but I'm glad you couldn't see it in the replay or anything like that. So the call got to stand, and, you know, I felt like that was like a huge momentum boost right there. I thought, you know, the refs really tried to, you know, fuck us over there, you know what I'm saying, with the Gunnar Olszewski, you know, return for a touchdown that was negated by, you know, the ref throwing that freaking flag for the blind side. I'm like the guy put his shoulders into the guy. He saw him coming. It's not like he didn't see him, you know. I hate when those guys come on TV and they're like, yeah, I think the league is gonna go, you know, on the side of the refs with this one. It's like, dude, like, we're not stupid, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's clear as day that's not a blindside block right there. You know, the defense all day. I think that's the most Patriots defense look like we've seen all season, right? You know, third downs was key for us. You know, we actually got off the field on majority of the third downs out there, and you know, the Cardinals just couldn't get in rhythm at all game. And I don't know if that has to do with Kyler Murray's shoulder injury, but I think we just made him uncomfortable all game, even though he was making some incredible throws, man. He's a talented.
Yeah, he did throw some dimes, definitely.
On defense, we had a lot more pressure on up front, a lot more pressure than usual. We had a couple of good sacks, and we definitely made it uncomfortable for him. But I think he was definitely worried about his shoulder. And as you mentioned earlier, we had a good game on special team. We had a kick return and a punt return, even though it was negated by a flag. Whatever, the rules are the rules, but that's whatever. But I thought we had a good game, even though the offense wasn't performing the way that we wanted it to perform. But as far as defensively and with the special team, we had a good game, which I think the special team actually helped us win that game because we
good positioning.
The short field
position,
the short field definitely helped us win that game. So I think that was actually the key reason why we won that game.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see Bill Belichick starting to use like the rookies. You know, Josh Uche was out there, Kyle Duggar was out there, and he's been out there for a few weeks now, and he's been balling. And Uche coming off the edge, it looks like they're setting up the edge, you know, on defense pretty well. You know, that was definitely evident today because, you know, Drake could not. I mean, he got a couple, you know, good runs out there, but it wasn't like on a consistent basis. You know, so I'm glad to see that Bill's starting to let those guys play a little bit, you know, especially Uche, because him coming off the edge, you know, with his speed, it's like he's blown by guys on the line. There's nothing you can do about it. And, you know, I think Cardinals are lucky Cardinals and the Texans were lucky because they have athletic quarterbacks that can get away from stuff like that. But, you know, I think for 2 weeks now, you know, we've had good pressure coming at the quarterbacks. It's just, you know, some of these quarterbacks, they can create, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't take much for them to do. And Kyler Murray is one of those. He had a couple throws, you know, on the run there that was like, you know, that picked up first downs. It's like, yo, you know, any other quarterback, that dude has been sacked like 3 times already. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, it was a good game by us. I feel like, you know, the interception by Cam Newton late there, you know, that really could have killed us, you know. That's really unacceptable. And like you said, Barry, it looks like the pocket presence is just not there, you know. We saw some sacks that he just doesn't feel coming. You know what I'm saying? It's like
one of the sacks, he ran into the sack.
Yes,
like,
and I'm
he stepped up, like he stepped up into the guy's arm. It was that just shouldn't be happening.
You have to be able to tell where the pressure's coming, and it's like it's clearly coming from the left side or whatever the play was on. But he just needs to do a better job of recognizing. You know, I feel like that's what our last quarterback was like really good at. You know, setting the guys up. He knew where the pressure was coming. And you know that comes from film study, you know, and feeling the game, man. And you know, Cam definitely needs to do a better job of that. But I think we saw another week that he was comfortable with his receivers. You know, this is one of the weeks I'm gonna get on the Killer Harry because it's like, what the fuck is this boy doing out there, man? Sometimes, you know, some of the flags that he got, I'm like, you're only out there to block for people to, you know what I'm saying, to run. You're only out there on run plays and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're already phased out of the offense. It's like your one job, you can't be getting flags. You know what I'm saying? And he looks lost, man. You know, on one of those plays out there, it's like 3rd and 13 or something like that. Cam Newton's looking for him to go. You know, and he's just like standing there. Cam's like, "Yo, it's 3rd and 13. You got to get to the yard line to make the catch."
Right.
Now, you know, in one sense, you could think that, you know, Harry's a big receiver. You know, you could give him the ball short of the first down and he's going to, you know, try and make a move to get to the first down. But in another sense, it's like you're a receiver, man. Like, you have to be able to, you know, I think that's what Julian did well when he was here. Danny Amendola did well when he was here. You know, just getting that yardage and sitting there for the catch, you know. And it just looks like he's not on the same page, man. You know, and I don't know what he's gonna do, but I don't see him on this team past like maybe this is early because he is a first round pick.
It wasn't somebody's fault. He's a bust. You can say it, my dude. It wasn't somebody. Everybody was blaming. Everybody was blaming Brady. Brady doesn't want to play with the rookie. Nah, that guy sucks. Let's just be honest.
For real.
The whole time we should have been playing Myers, man. You know, like because he's clearly the NFL receiver between the two. You know what I'm saying? And the guy, he needs. I don't know. There's no G League for football, is there? You know, what is that? What is that? The CFL?
The CFL, you know.
CFL, the XFL.
Yeah. He needs to learn how to, like, you know, work on the routes, man, because that stuff kills him. You know, at the top of his routes, he's not doing the right stuff to get the separation. He has no separation, like you were saying, Barry. Can't get separation from a car. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But, you know, this is not the...
I was specifically referring to him when I made that comment.
Right, and, you know, I'm not going to sit here and bash him all day, but, you know, there was some plays there. It's like, yo, come on, man. You know, we have little room for error, you know, on offense. You know, we're already an offense that's not... We're not gaining, you know, the proper amount of yards that we need to as an offense to win games flat out. So it's like you have to minimize mistakes, and, you know, having boneheaded mistakes like that out there when you're not producing on offense is just like we can't have that, you know.
Yeah, unacceptable. Absolutely, the execution has to be on point in order for this offense to be effective and to move the ball and you know, maintain possession and, you know, and put points up on the board. And you're right, if, you know, guys aren't executing and doing their jobs and what they're supposed to be doing, you know, the offense isn't going to play very well, which, you know, is exactly what we saw today from him and, you know, from some of those guys out there. But I just wanted to say that I liked what I saw from a couple of guys defensively, particularly from Adam Butler. Yeah, I thought he played really well today, particularly in the, you know, running game, and got, you know, penetration up the middle, you know, with him and Lawrence Guy. Lawrence Guy was another one. I know you mentioned him earlier, John, and Adrian Phillips. Even though he got hurt, that man's been playing his tail off because they've been playing him a lot in the
linebacker
formation. Exactly, right. And he's been getting a lot of tackles and stuff and making plays. But, you know, and unfortunately he got hurt on that play at the end of the game and stuff. So I think kind of that caught up to him playing too much of the, you know, linebacker, you know, position, you know, even though he's a safety. But nonetheless, he's been one of the most impressive guys on the defense, you know, and most consistent guys throughout the season. And I thought even Gilmore did a good job on DeAndre Hopkins. That's why I was telling y'all last week that Stephon Gilmore should be matched up against, you know, Hopkins, because he always does a good job on him, and those two guys, you know, rivals, and, you know, and like, you know, going at each other. So, and are always you know, ready to play against each other. So I thought, you know, definitely Gilmore, you know, had a couple of penalties. That's going to happen when you play, you know, physical as he does, and there's a lot of hand fighting that we saw We even saw DeAndre Hopkins get, I think, 1 or 2 PIs. But nonetheless, definitely those guys did a really good job today. They did their thing, and they were the reason, they were the key reasons of why we won the game today. So I'm just, happy to see that the Patriots winning the tough, hard-fought, close game, and defensive, kind of, in special teams, kind of, the game that we're used to seeing them win in past years. I'm glad that they're able to do that today.
Yeah, man. Speaking of special teams, I think there's somebody we don't talk about a lot, but kickers are human too. You know what I'm saying? Like Pat McAfee usually says. Nick Folk, man.
Yes, made that big time kick.
He's been earning his paycheck, man.
Absolutely. That's a straight walk-off kick, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Walk-off kick, man, and that's his second one of the season so far, right? And, it's like when he first got here, we were all nervous about him missing kicks, and the guy hasn't missed. He's barely missed at all this season. I think he missed like an extra point a game ago or something like that. But other than that, on the field goals, he's been money. And we thought he couldn't kick past 45 yards, and so
he's hit both of those field goals that he's made were 50
yarders. Yeah. So we gotta give him his props when it's due. Without him, the team's definitely doesn't have a couple of those games that we've won this year, So, we're still alive. We're still alive, like Vlad says,
barely, we're in there.
By a thread, you know what I'm saying?
Right. We're in the hunt for now.
Right. So, we're going to move on to our second matchup because right now we're 5-6. Hopefully we can get to 6-6 next week and get to 500. And we're going to be talking about Patriots versus the LA Chargers, man. Formerly San Diego Chargers, now LA Chargers. Their record is what now? 3-8. Did they lose that game against the Bills?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, me either. I saw a little bit of that earlier. Let me see if they won that or not.
Well, they lost. They were losing that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were losing at one point.
Yeah, they were losing.
Yeah, so they lost that game. They lost that game 27-17.
Yeah.
So their record now is 3-8.
3-8.
Yeah.
So so the Bills added to their win column, and Chargers keep racking these losses. They're not losing games by like blowouts either, man. The Chargers are a team that's been in a lot of games this year, and they've lost like last-second games, last-minute games. Their rookie quarterback is playing extremely well. He should be the rookie of the year. Now that Joe Burrow is actually out because he suffered, that knee injury. Well, much more than just a knee injury. He suffered a lot right there.
Yeah, that was devastating injury.
Right. So we got Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, and Hunter Henry coming through, next week. Are they coming to the Patriots, or are we going there?
No, this is our LA trip.
We're going. Okay, this is the LA trip.
We're playing 2 games in LA. We're playing them, and then we're playing the Rams.
Okay.
LA.
Yes. Yeah. Which this game, then it's not going to be an easy game. I can say that right there. What do you guys think we need to do to win the game next week? Who needs to perform to make sure we get that W and get to 500?
Well, I think for sure Cam Newton can have the same game he had today. I think he's going to have to play better, play mistake-free. I think the record of the Chargers doesn't indicate how well the teams are. Even though they're 3-8, I still think they can beat the Patriots. Herbert can put up points, just like you mentioned. He plays when he needs to be a shootout, he's gonna put up points. So I think the Patriots are gonna have to just play well on offense. If we can play well on defense as well as we played today, and play well on offense, I think we can make this a ball game.
Facts.
Yeah, certainly with that, those are certainly all good, points. I think, definitely we're going to have to be better offensively this game since, we're facing a really good quarterback that, even though he didn't play well against the Bills today, we know what he is capable of doing. I don't know how I was struggling to say that. But he has certainly played well this year and showed that he, has a potential to be a big-time quarterback in this league for the years to come. He's even shown that, he should have probably been drafted before Tua, and maybe the Dolphins, could have probably have taken him and instead of Tua. But nonetheless, the defense is going to have to play just like they played, last week. I mean, just like they played today, they're going to have to play next week against the Chargers, or just as well in order for us to, get a chance to win that game. And then you're right. Certainly, Cam Newton has to play better, but the receivers have to play better as a unit as well. There's certainly needs to be better, better timing and better rapport and chemistry between the receivers and Cam Newton. I think that wasn't too good what we saw today, so that certainly needs to improve for next week. And then obviously, as always, they need to, be able to run the football, keep Justin Herbert and that offense on the field and control the clock and the pace the game. So I think, if they do those things, they should be able to win. But, it's certainly going to be a tough game that I think we can pull out. But I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this game if, Justin Herbert has a big day and does this thing like he's been doing most of the season. But the Patriots should, if they want to go to the playoffs, these are the kind of games that they're gonna be able
Well,
to.
we're gonna have to win out for the playoffs, right? No matter what.
Absolutely. Or at the worst, go 9-7. But they're pretty much gonna have to play perfect, just about every game, or well enough to win. Like the margin for error is pretty much none. There is no margin for error. I'm not even gonna say it's slim. Like what I'm saying? They have to, play good complementary football. Like we saw today, and like we saw them when they've won their games, and they certainly have to, execute as well better offensively, pick up the blitzes, because I know the Chargers are going to bring pressure, like we saw in the last couple of weeks. The opposing defenses bring pressure, so Cam Newton has to be better with that, in terms of, being aware of where the pressure's coming from and getting rid of the ball quicker.
Is Bosa playing?
Yes, he is. He will be playing.
It's his brother.
He got back.
It's his brother. He was injured, right?
Bosa's gonna play. Yeah, Nick Bosa plays for
the 49ers, but he's injured though.
Hurt. He's injured.
Yeah.
He's on IR. I think he's out for the year. So
right.
That's certainly someone that the Patriots offensive line is gonna have to do a good job in blocking and not letting him get pressure on Cam Newton next week.
Hey man, I feel like the kid Michael Onwenu, he's a beast on the line for us, man, and he's been nullifying top pass rushers. Even J.J. Watt couldn't do nothing last week other than put his hands up and get the deflection. But other than that, he wasn't getting close to Cam Newton playing against Michael Onwenu. So hopefully he can continue his stellar performance throughout the season. John,
real quick thing. They might put him on the left side then, knowing that the Patriots' strong side of their offensive line is the right side. Because, without Isaiah Wynn, that's where the weakness is. So if they line him up on the left and against the left tackle, he should, could potentially have some success, or that's a more favorable matchup for him. So I know that's just something to look out for next week as you're watching the game.
I think wherever that guy is, he's going to perform, because we've placed him in multiple positions on the line already this year, and he's performed in every single position we put him in. What were you saying, Vlad?
as good as that kid is, I think Belichick, with the offensive line, I think the Patriots just do a great job at not letting one guy beat the team.
Beat them. Yep.
Right.
Even when we didn't have a great offensive line, JJ Watt usually doesn't do well against us just because Belichick usually doubles him, find a way to make sure that no matter where he's at, left side, center, middle, the right side, make sure
Mhm.
that he gets doubled. And I don't think Joey Bosa can definitely affect the game. I don't think Belichick is going to let him destroy the game in any capacity.
Absolutely, man. But
No,
I
that's
think
a good point, Vlad, for sure.
this is another week where we are gonna see another good quarterback, man. We've been seeing a slew of good quarterbacks since we played the Jets, you know what I'm saying? And these guys, I think Herbert is definitely the rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year anyway. He's the only rookie quarterback that's thrown a touchdown in every game he's played so far.
Wow, I
To
didn't
start
even
his
realize that. That's
to
impressive.
start his career, you know what I'm saying? And he has Keenan Allen out there, which, I think Gilmore is going to have to, shadow kind of like he did with Hopkins today. Hunter Henry, he's not a bad
Oh, he's a
tight
pretty
end
good
at
tight
all.
end.
You know
I
what I'm
like
saying?
Henry. He
So
can play.
I don't know who are they still starting Akers at their running back, or they got somebody else in there right now?
Yeah, so Eckler just came back
Came back.
this week from his injury. They just activated him from IR, and he did play his first game, back from the injury today. So they, have him. They have Joshua Kelly, and then I think they have another running back as well that they have in their rotation. But, I think Eckler's probably going to see more carries, next week since that,
Yeah.
week was just his first game
Well,
back.
he had 14 carries today for 44 yards.
Yeah, but they did play the Bills. They got a good defensive front over there. They're good against the run.
Well,
But-
Eckler is he's a double threat.
Yep.
He had 14 carries today for 44 yards, but more impressively, he had 11 catches for 85 yards.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a nice little player, man. So he's not a slouch. He's definitely not a slouch.
So we
Um,
definitely gonna have our handful with him.
Yeah, I don't think we will ever play mistake-free football. Not this season anyway. Just because of the lack of weapons we have. The lack of bodies, and the guy at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we'll ever play a clean, game. But we definitely gonna have to have repeat performances like we saw today, where we just have to pull out games. And I definitely think this is a game we can win for sure. But it's not gonna be a cakewalk at all.
Not at all. But they do have to limit turnovers, John. I get that. It's hard for this team to, to play mistake free and to not have any turnovers at all. They're gonna happen once in a while. But definitely, not turning over the ball multiple times and putting, the defense in a bad position and giving the other team short field. They can't continue to do that, particularly next week against a very good Chargers offense with all those guys that we just named that, are all really good players and can make plays. So we certainly can't see that next week if the Patriots are going to beat the Chargers and pull off the win.
Yeah, man, for sure. I agree with you 100% right there. So in other NFL news, the Ravens and Steelers game was postponed until December 2nd. That's Tuesday. All three Broncos quarterbacks on the roster, they're both out today due to COVID-19.
All three of them.
All three of them. Yeah, crazy.
Wow. 3 of them? Wow.
All three of them. An undrafted rookie practice squad receiver, Kendall Hinton, it started against the Saints today. So, and there's a story actually that Denver made a request to the league to start their offensive quality assistant coach, Bob
I heard about
Calabrese, but the request was denied, which, I didn't even for them to have the audacity to ask, like, "Yo, can we start a position coach?" Like, like, are you serious, bro?
Well,
Like,
I heard that guy played quarterback in college.
yo, but I was thinking, like, yo, he's a coach. You know, he probably has the boys. He probably has a thought process to actually do the job. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to a practice squad receiver that they had to put in there. But you know, this goes to show you, man, like the NFL, man, and their plan for this year wasn't very well thought out. You know what I'm saying? For a team to not have a quarterback and still have to go and play a game, it's absurd. You know what I'm saying? It's like our team doesn't have the most important position on the team on the field. Like that makes no sense. Why would you force us to have that game? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, for scheduling purposes, they can't just like, you know, postpone games or reschedule games like a baseball, you know, like in baseball or anything like that. But I definitely think
they definitely could. They just don't want to. I don't see why the game. I mean, the Super Bowl can be pushed back to March. Who cares? Like they could, but they just don't want to.
No, I'm with Vlad.
I'm not going to disagree.
The NFL certainly doesn't want this season to drag on too long, even despite of COVID. Yeah, they're trying to have this season end as soon as possible and get these games in by any means necessary when they can, despite of guys testing positive and and not having to play. So I mean, they shouldn't be rushing this season. You know, they should certainly take their time with it. And you're right, even if it goes into late February, March, as long as they get through it, they should be okay. But I don't think the NFL owners and Goodell see it that way from that perspective and point of view.
I mean, I, for one, wouldn't mind watching football until March. You know what I'm saying? Because then you got the combine that's going to come in like May. That's, a little shorter time between Super Bowl and.
Well, the combine's in March because in the draft's in April.
Isn't it May now? They moved it back.
Well, the draft's in late April. I think it's like that last weekend of April going into March for going into May for next year. But
yeah, man,
right, they have it like that last week, but I think they pushed it back a little bit.
Because
due to COVID.
Yeah, they pushed it further than it usually was. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, we got to wait all this time, for at least the draft, because it's like between the Super Bowl and the draft, it's like that time span is excruciating. It's like, what who we getting on the team? You know what I'm saying?
The NBA.
Bless you,
basketball.
Thank you.
More news. Joe Burrow. We were talking about him. Burrow. How you guys say it? Burrow. Yeah. Glad. Joe Burrow, he tore both his ACL and MCL in a loss against the Washington Redskins last week, man. And he'll miss the remainder of the season, obviously. I feel bad for him. I actually like Joe Burrow a lot. He's a gamer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's what you call a gamer. He's up for whatever.
Well, I feel bad for any guy that has that kind of injury for sure.
Yeah. Especially a new quarterback, you know what I'm saying? That looks like he has a bright future, and then for this crap,
I saw something this week that said that the FedEx Field where the Washington football team plays
is bad.
It's a graveyard.
Oh, trash.
It's a graveyard for quarterbacks because quarterbacks get injured there all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of players from other teams that complain about it. They're like, yo, y'all need to do something about that field, And it's like you have to protect your product, you know what I'm saying? Look at what happened to Kyle Allen. Like this man's leg almost came off his body, you know what I'm saying? On that field. I don't know the science behind all that stuff, but if the field is what's causing this stuff, they need to do something about this.
I don't know if it's the field. It's just I think they're just saying because the Joe Burrow injury, he got sacked. 2 guys sacked him, and he basically got folded.
Yeah.
He did get rocked on that.
Boom.
it wasn't necessarily the field. I think it's just this like superstitious thing going on over there at that FedEx field where and any quarterback like you look at Alex Smith almost lost his leg over there. Joe Theismann with had to retire after his injury. You know what I mean? It's just bad things going on at that field period basically.
Yeah, I think it's because they had that name for so long. They're cursed over there.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
if you believe, if you believe in energy and you believe in weird shit, that you can say there's ghosts going on over there. Like there's you know what I mean.
No, that's a fact though, man. Lastly about the NFL, Thanksgiving just went by. I hope everybody out there had a good Thanksgiving with their families if they were able to. I know, we had to social distance and stuff like that, but if you were able to spend some time with some loved ones, hopefully you did it and hopefully you had a good time regardless of the circumstances we're in with COVID-19 and all that stuff, man. But there were 3 games scheduled for Thanksgiving, but we only got to see 2 because one of them was postponed. The Steelers and Ravens game.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson caught COVID-19. You know what I'm saying? So he can't even play. So, now the game's postponed. We saw Detroit Lions versus Houston. Texans won 41-25 against Detroit. It's like every year. Every year, that's what happens to these guys. I don't even know why they let them play on Thanksgiving anymore, man. It's like every single year. I know, but you really don't care about your fans if you're gonna make them go through this shit every Thanksgiving. It's like, you can't. You know what I'm saying? It's like you ate all this good food. The family's here just to watch this team lose every Thanksgiving.
Well, whichever team plays the Lions, just know they're gonna have a good Thanksgiving.
That
absolutely.
That's messed up, man. That's messed up.
They get out every Thanksgiving. That's what they do.
Right.
I do like the Thanksgiving games. It's just part of the.
I love it.
Part of the Thanksgiving tradition. Because you're gonna see the Lions lose. You're gonna see. You're gonna see a Cowboys Redskins game, and then usually the night game is usually a good game as well.
Right.
I watched part of both games. You know what I mean, and I couldn't believe what I saw. What was happening to the Lions.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling that Matt Patricia was gonna get fired after that game. I definitely had that. Definitely had that feeling because it was a nationally televised game. The pressure was on. They were playing terrible. They didn't just lose the game; they got annihilated. So I just knew, I knew something was going to come after that game.
Right. Well, they started off that game well, and got a couple touchdowns from AP, during the first half, and then just after that, poof, the Texans whooped that ass and put a beating on them, and Deshaun Watson and that offense just went off and went crazy on them, and they couldn't stop couldn't stop the Texans at all. So yeah, it's just another sad Thanksgiving for all the Detroit Lions fans and the people of the Detroit, man. Like, it's crazy that every year this happens with that team, and it's just a lousy and losing organization and franchise, and it baffles me that they thought that they could bring in Matt Patricia to kind of change the culture of that organization and make it, into similar to the Patriots and what they're, doing and what they've done for so long, and it just really doesn't work that way. The Lions aren't the only team that has made that mistake, bringing in Bill Belichick, disciple and having them try to, run their organization and run their program similar to what the Patriots, and for the most part, it never works out. The only time it has worked out is with Brian Flores and with the Miami Dolphins, but that's because, Brian Flores is doing it his way. I'm sure he's doing some stuff that, is similar to Belichick and what he learned from him, but he's also being himself and running that organization and creating his own culture rather than trying to, you to do what Belichick is doing in New England. So you got to allow these coaches to be themselves and to and be their own person. And I think it just wasn't really a good fit for Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn and the Lions. From day one, I could tell that it wasn't going to last long for them, and didn't even make it up to the end of 3 seasons. So this was definitely we could all see this coming from a mile away.
Yeah, I think we saw on Thanksgiving, we saw 2 teams that consisted of 2 coaches that need to be fired, period. You know what I'm saying? And one, already bit the dust. That's Matt Patricia. And then for the Dallas Cowboys, Mike, what's his name? Mike whatever. Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy.
He definitely he has to go, man. I remember.
It's only been 1 season.
I don't care.
His first season.
No, come on, man.
You gotta give at least a guy 2-3 seasons.
I agree. I agree with Barry.
You can't just fire a guy after 1 year. Then you're gonna be hiring head coaches every year. Yeah,
you know what I remember about Mike McCarthy? I always remember this one thing about him. Aaron Rodgers got so pissed, and he said, like, yo, this dude doesn't fucking know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Not just like he's a bad coach, like he doesn't understand what he's doing. And to me, from what I've been seeing, Rodgers, like, it's documented.
I
like,
they had a really good
that's why he got fired.
McCarthy and Rodgers. I thought the relationship was good up until the end. I know it got sour towards the end of his time in Green Bay, but I thought for the most part it was pretty good up until that point.
It looked good for a while, but Aaron Rodgers himself said, yo, this fucking guy doesn't know what he's doing. I think that came off of like a game that they lost, where Rodgers felt like, they could have won the game, and he actually made that statement. And, from things I'm hearing, from the Dallas Cowboys players themselves, them saying that, this dude doesn't know what he's doing. They can't make good adjustments during the game. Like, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm not even taking the chance to give this guy 2 years, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand Jason Garrett wasn't like the best, but he at least was winning some of these games, man. You know what I'm saying? They did not look this bad under Jason Garrett, and they still have a good team with like good pieces on it. You know what I'm saying? So
there's talent there.
There's talent, man. You give Cam Newton some of the talent that's on the Cowboys, man. You got CeeDee Lamb. You got what's the other receiver, Amari Cooper. You got Michael Gallup. You got Elliott in the back. Like, bro, this is
solid. Exactly.
Yo, this is a good, talented team. You know what I'm saying? And for you to be losing, you lost 41-16 to Washington. All right? To Washington. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think
that's pathetic.
You know what? I'm gonna say don't be surprised if Mike McCarthy gets fired this year. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's in his first year, like, things are not good there, from what I'm hearing. So
it's dysfunctional for sure. It's a mess.
Yeah. So Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn got fired, and I think Mike McCarthy's going to be next. I loved watching the games, but, it wasn't like they were competitive games or anything like that. So it was just something to watch on TV for Thanksgiving, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I enjoyed the most every Sunday or whenever the Cowboys play is when Stephen A. Smith, right after the game, he comes out dancing just – how about them? And then he goes, "How about them Cowboys?" He just gets such a kick out of the Cowboys losing, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, and they got the meme.
That's awesome.
They got the meme with all the quarterbacks that they've played. Hey, y'all still them boys? Y'all seen that one?
No, I did not.
You haven't seen that one? I'll send it to you next time I see it.
Too,
I'm sure you've seen it.
Oh yeah, of course. That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, man. That's gonna be it for the NFL side of things. Let's get into the NBA a little bit. Where we just had the NBA draft. Things are quickly approaching where the NBA season is gonna come back in a couple of weeks now. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see preseason games in a couple of weeks, maybe a little bit over 2 weeks now. On the 15th. As far as the Celtics, they continue to discuss the sign and trade deal with the Hornets for Gordon Hayward.
I believe they just came out with the deal. I think they
Yeah.
officially actually agreed to a deal.
Yeah, I saw that, and we have I think we created like $27 million in cap space because of it.
Something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's a $27 million trade exception.
That's awesome.
That's
and
great.
that gives us
that is great. Just what we need.
That gives us some leverage, to get some bodies in here. Somebody that's a free agent, maybe during the season we see somebody that could really help the team and bring them on. But I'm glad that we have that in our back pocket now.
Definitely.
It was reported that Gordon Hayward, he actually turned down a $100 million contract with the Celtics and the Pacers before signing with the Charlotte Hornets, which he got $20 million more. And, I don't know anybody who's leaving $20 million on the table. So, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I don't blame the Celtics because we weren't going to sign him for $120 million,
Yeah.
And at least we got something in return, and he wasn't obligated to do anything with us. As soon as he opted out of that contract, he wasn't obligated to do anything with us, so at least we getting something coming back. Taco Fall signed a 2-way contract with the Celtics. So we're going to keep seeing, people talking about put Taco in the game. Put Taco in the game. He will be a beast. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thinks, Taco Fall is like the second coming or something.
For real.
They think Taco Fall is going to take us to the top,
They think he's the missing piece to a championship.
For sure. Yeah, but, he's a fan favorite. He's going to sell some jerseys, and he's going to play for the Celtics. And, the main Red Claws are going to be good again this year, so.
Yeah, and watch that boy cook next year, John. Watch that.
Yeah.
Watch that.
The Celtics gave Daniel Tice and Semi Ojeleye 1-year guaranteed contracts, so they'll be on the team again. We got some preseason action going on for the Celtics. We'll be facing the 76ers on December 15th at 7 p.m. That's actually a day after my birthday, so that'll be good right there.
Oh, okay. All right,
yeah,
boy. That's what's up. The B-Day's coming up. There you go.
The B-Day's coming up, man. Yeah, and then the Celtics play KD and Kyrie on the 18th, the Brooklyn Nets.
Nice.
That should be nice. You think those guys will play?
If they even play, probably not. Because they usually don't play the last preseason game, even though they're only playing 2 preseason games. They'll probably be in street clothes on the bench or something. I'd like to see them on the court, but most likely they probably won't, just so that those guys don't get injured and nothing happens to them before the season starts.
Yeah, man. And as expected, something we've been expecting to do all summer, the Celtics went ahead and they signed Jason Tatum to a rookie extension, 5 years, $195 million.
Woo! Yes.
Oh, man.
Pocket change.
Pocket change for Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes over there like, that's it? That's all you got? But,
that's all you got?
Mahomes is dedicated for 10 years, so that's
but
different.
You know what, though? The NBA contracts are all guaranteed. So in terms of guaranteed money, he got more money than...
Wait. They're all guaranteed now?
The NBA contracts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There are some incentives in there,
right?
But
it's like mostly guaranteed. Yeah,
that's awesome. Good for him, man.
That's why whenever guys get money in the NFL, I'm like, yo, NBA is where it's at.
Right,
it is. Real bags are at.
Well, the NBA and MLB, that's where
MLB,
the bags at.
Yeah, MLB as well.
If you can get in
MLB
there,
too. They be getting bags over there.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, with Jason Tatum being signed to the extension, one, do you guys think he's worth it? Two, do you guys think Tatum can take us? Like, do you guys think Tatum can be a number one on this team to take us to a championship?
Yeah, I mean, worth it, obviously, that's no question. Can he take us? I think if he keeps playing better, if he keeps making stride, he has the upside to do it. That's all I'm gonna say. He has the upside to do it. Whether he can do it right now, he didn't do it last year, but he has the upside to do it. He has to get better. He has to be more of a killer. He has to be more consistent, but he can definitely do it.
Yeah, for sure. I love this extension that they gave him. I certainly think that he's, more than capable of being that guy. In terms of being a number one on a championship team and being worth a max player money, which is what he got. He certainly has to keep improving and keep getting better. But I think last year what we've seen from him was enough to show us that this guy does have the potential of being a max player, and he's only 22 and he's still going to be getting better, and the guy's not even close to his prime, which is the scary part, that he's already this good of a player at 22. So I certainly think he is a the face of the franchise with this signing, and certainly going to be the guy that has to lead us to a championship, particularly after they just gave him that contract. So I'm excited about the future of Jason Tatum, and looking forward to seeing him continue to grow and mature his game and improve for the years to come.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vlad.
I think that the core of the Celtics with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is a good core to go on. I think definitely Marcus Smart is part of that core.
Absolutely, he already got his deal. Yeah,
coming off the bench, and I think if our point guard can play, Kemba Walker can play well and keep playing consistently, I think we definitely have a good core to go on. I still think we need more pieces. I think I'm glad we got Tristan Thompson, but I was gonna ask you guys, what do you guys think if we had gotten Whiteside?
I mean, one, to answer the question, I think definitely Jason Tatum is worth it. That was a no-brainer. And two, can he take us to a championship? I mean, the guy in his first 3 years has put up numbers, that are rivaling Kevin Durant and LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? And the only two that are rivaling, the stuff he's done in the first 3 years of his career. So, and, like Barry said, he's 22, But to answer your question, Vlad, Whiteside, I don't know what it is about Whiteside, but I don't like him. He's a good shot blocker, but he just doesn't have enough to his game to actually do what we need him to do here. You know what I'm saying?
You think Tristan has more?
Tristan, he's a guy with no ego. He's a guy that's gonna come in here and play his role, do the dirty work, get offensive rebounds, get on the glass. He's not gonna ask you to give him the ball. Like, he doesn't need that. He'll make the right pass. He's just a guy that's going to play his role and knows his role really well, and he doesn't try to do things that he doesn't, he doesn't try to do things that doesn't suit his game. Whiteside will sit out there and freaking chuck a three up there, ill-advised type shit. And it's like, boy, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And Jason Tatum will be sitting there like this. Whiteside, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? He's a guy, I feel like he's hard-headed sometimes, and I think that's why he's been traded and he's actually moved to the Kings, which I'm going to let people know about in a second. He's been moved so many teams already because of that. He's a guy that does well when he's focused. No doubt that, he's one of the best rebounders out there. One of the best shot blockers too, but I just don't think he fits this team better than Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, I'm with that for sure, John. You definitely bring up some really good points. I certainly think Tristan Thompson's a much better fit for this team, because this team already has enough scorers and enough guys that can put the ball in the basket. They certainly need more role players and guys that are willing to be team players. And I certainly think, and guys are also, like I talked about, veteran leadership and championship experience. That's what I wanted to see the Celtics get this offseason, with the guys that they picked up. And certainly that's what Tristan Thompson brings to the table. He's won a championship with the, Cavs. He's been in deep, playoff runs and knows what it takes to, win in order to win a chip. So he can certainly teach, the young guys and let those guys know what it takes to be a champion, since that's what the next step for the Celtic is. And he's also, I was reading this earlier this week, an elite screener. So like Tice, he's very good at setting ball screens off the ball and good particularly in the pick and roll. He's one of the best pick and roll screeners in the game. And certainly Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, and Marcus Smart are, some of the best pick and roll guys in the game. They're going to love playing with Tristan Thompson, and he's an elite offensive rebounder. So, and we, need guys that can, crash the boards hard and that can, rebound the ball well and consistently, because our guards like Tatum and Brown had to rebound for us, and they shouldn't have to worry about that. So the fact that we have a guy that can take care of the boards and take that pressure off of Tatum and Brown is certainly a great thing for this team. And I'm certainly, now glad that we did pick up Tristan Thompson as opposed to a guy like Hassan Whiteside, because he will, I think he'll thrive in his role here and be a really good player for us, within the next couple of seasons.
One more question for you guys. You guys excited about the Kardashians coming to town?
Oh, Lord, I knew someone was going to bring that up. Oh, Lord. Oh,
yo.
No, I'm not excited about that.
Listen. Do you know how many...
The Kardashians out of here. Oh, Lord.
The amount of girls that know what the Celtics are now just because Tristan Thompson signed here is ridiculous. Okay?
Real,
like, they're like, oh, Tristan Thompson, that's Chloe's boyfriend. Like, he's yo.
Now I'm a Celtics fan.
Tristan Thompson posted a picture. I seen mad chicks under it, like, welcome to Boston. Like, yo. You know what I'm saying?
They really did that for real?
Don't be mad. Don't be mad that Tristan is gonna come and take your girls now.
Oh yeah.
Don't be mad.
Hey, he's gonna bag everybody.
He's bagging all your shorties, John.
Yeah, sure.
Really, I heard that dude's a ladies man. I heard that. Shoot. The chicks dig him, man.
Hey, listen, I definitely don't want his troubles. You know what I'm saying?
But guys, was one quick thing. Then again, it's not good that he's back together with Khloe Kardashian, because that may mean he might not play as well with us, because I'm sure y'all know about the Kardashian curse, right?
Listen. Tristan Thompson is above that. He's too player for that. He's like, you
Kardashian curse.
Listen, have you seen him in the tabloids? Like, you see what he's doing out there? This man don't give a damn about no Kardashians.
I'm sorry I brought the topic up. Let's move on.
Oh man.
I knew someone was going to bring that up this week.
Listen, I think the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was, now we kind of have a complete team, right, with the Celtics. What do you guys think we should do with Marcus Smart? You know what I'm saying? Like, should he go to the bench? Because I'm seeing a lot of people that are suggesting that Kid Neesmith get into the starting lineup.
Really? People been saying that to you? What?
Well, their thing is Marcus Smart is better coming off the bench because he can control that second unit. Neesmith is not going to be asked to do much in the starting lineup. All he has to do is position himself to, get that corner three, and that's what he does. He's that spot-up shooter. He's a solid defender, and he can create, separation for the shot. You know what I'm saying? In that sense, they don't need, Marcus Smart's offense in the starting lineup as opposed to what they need him in the second lineup.
No, I definitely hear what you're saying on that, John. And I mean, that's, now that you put it into that perspective, that's a fair point, why people are saying that. And, I would certainly, I don't know if I'd put the, rookie Naismith right away into the starting lineup, but maybe at some point during the season, they should look into that. I wouldn't like Marcus Smart in the starting lineup because we saw how that went last year. I'm sure we don't want to see another year or more games of him just chucking up shots and taking shots away from JT and JB and Kimba, because that wasn't working out so well and that wasn't very effective and good offense that we need to be running. That was like, he was pretty much just a guy that was getting in the way, and I don't want to see that again. I feel like he doesn't play like that on the bench, and even if he does shoot, like, he's going to be the main guy coming off the second unit, and we need a scoring off the bench. So since we don't have any very bench scorers, even though we did just pick up Jeff Teague, who can certainly help with that, but I think he'll probably start off the season starting. Then at some point they're gonna have to figure out who is gonna be that other starter to complement JT and JB and Kimba Walker. I'm sure Tristan Thompson will be in the starting lineup, but they need to also find another guy who complements that lineup well and that can be able to play well, since I don't think Marcus Smart fits his game, particularly is complementary of those guys.
Yeah. Vlad, do you have any thoughts on that?
I definitely think that Marcus belong on the bench, and I think that the energy he brings off of the bench is unlike no other, and he would help us. He would help the second unit, but I don't know who you put it, who you start above him.
Neesmith.
I
Aaron
don't.
Neesmith.
It's too young. Too
Yeah,
young.
too early for that.
Just got drafted. They didn't get any summer league or anything like that. I don't like it.
I wanted to get your thoughts and see where your mind was at on that one right there. But more on the NBA, man. We saw a lot of signings. Obviously, free agency period started off, and we saw people like Marc Gasol. He signed with the Lakers. Another Gasol brother on the Lakers. And as you know, championships follow the Gasols. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens with that. Aaron Baines signed a 2-year deal with the Raptors, which I thought was a good deal for him. $14 million for 2 years, and he'll get Ibaka's old spot. You know what I'm saying? I think he's probably going to be the starter now because they lost both Gasol,
he's going to be
Gasol and Ibaka.
Yeah, I wanted to see the Aaron Baines come back to Boston, come home and play for the Celtics again, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So that's a good pickup for the Raptors to replace the bigs they lost in Ibaka and Gasol.
Right. Who else? Hassan Whiteside, like I was saying, signed with the Kings. Austin Rivers agreed to a 1-year deal with the Knicks. I don't know why anybody would want to play there.
Yeah, for real. Seriously.
The Knicks signed Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. It seems like they're signing everybody. It seems like they signed everybody. Yeah, he is.
Michael Gilchrist still plays in the NBA. I haven't heard his name in years.
He does, man.
That guy, I thought he was gone. Like, wow.
He's still playing. And Klay Thompson, he suffered an Achilles injury. He underwent successful surgery. I think I seen a meme the other day that had Klay Thompson and then Derrick Rose. It was like the two most liked individuals in the NBA history. You know what I'm saying? Everybody likes them. Everybody respects them. And I kind of agree with that because, Klay is just like a worker. You know what I'm saying? He's a man's man. You know what I'm saying? And he has a lot of heart. And it sucks to see that happen to him. And he's going to miss another year with an injury.
Yeah, that's a really unfortunate. I just feel bad for him.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, me too. It certainly was tough to see that. Felt really, sad and felt his pain. You're talking about, like you said, one of the best two-way players and, hardest, workers out there. He worked his ass off to get back to, playing on the court this year after tearing his ACL during the NBA Finals in 2018 when they lost to the Raptors. So, and, he was on his way back and was certainly going to be, a good player and have a good season with Steph Curry and the Warriors. And it's just really unfortunate and, devastating to see, that happen to, one of the good guys in the league and one of the better, players, and that is a guy that actually makes the league better and more exciting to watch. So I hope he recovers from this and comes back stronger next year and hopefully this adds more motivation for him to, to get better and to prove himself that he can play at that level he was before the injury in the finals.
Facts, man. Some important NBA dates, some key dates for 2020 and 2021. So December 1st through the 5th is individual player workouts. And also it's media week also during that week. December 6th, group player workouts begin. December 11th through the 19th will be the NBA preseason. And December 22nd through March 4th, 2021 is the first half of the regular season. And in 2021, March 5th through the 10th will be the All-Star break. March 11th through May 16th, second half of the regular season. May 13th through 15th, class of 2020 Hall of Fame enshrinement will be announced. May 18th through the 21 play-in tournament for the playoffs. And May 22nd through July 22nd will be 2021 will be the 2021 NBA playoffs. So be on the lookout for those dates, man. We're going to move into that's it for the NBA. We're going to move into the NHL, where we really don't have much going on in the NHL, but one news concerning the Bruins. The Bruins signed Jake Debrusk to a two-year $7.35 million contract. So welcome back to Debrusk, to the Bruins. And now we're going to get into soccer. Vlad, what you got for us?
Yes, sir. So over the week, the New England Revolution played the Philadelphia Union. The Philadelphia Union ended the season at the top of the Eastern Conference for the MLS. And they met with the New England Revolution in the playoffs, the first round of the playoffs. And surprise, surprise, the New England Revolution shocked the MLS world and eliminated the Philadelphia Union 2-0.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that was surprising. But Barry told me over the week that he watched the game. So let me know what you thought of the game, Barry.
Yeah, I certainly thought it was a good game by the Revs. That they played very well from start to finish, particularly and right in the beginning of the game when they were able to, get on the attack, put pressure on the Union's defense and get some scoring chances, going and be able to, get it in their zone of the field. And I certainly thought that, they really kept the Union on their heels, and you could just tell they were the more aggressive team, right from the start, and they were able to maintain that throughout the whole game. And, they took advantage of a couple of those scoring chances, and put them right in the back of the net. There was, I believe on that first goal, that was a beautiful header right in the, back corner of the goal, perfectly placed. The goalie had no chance at it. So that was a good set piece that they had. And then the other goal was certainly another nice shot as well, right into the, opposite corner where the goalie was. So, they certainly, made the most of their chances that they got, and certainly they defended well. Is to when the Union were able to get the ball into the red zone. They certainly had some good defense and didn't really let the Union create too many scoring chances. So I certainly thought that the Revs outplayed them and were the better team, and and certainly deserved to win that game. So I'm glad that they won, and they did what they had to do, and they're moving on.
Yeah, like Barry said, it was definitely a great game by the Revolution. I thought Philadelphia played well as well. They actually had.
They did though, Vlad. Sorry to interrupt. I just thought they came out flat at the beginning and didn't come out with them. They didn't match the energy and intensity of the way the Revs were playing, and they didn't play as high of a level as the Revs were playing at the start. I thought as the game went along, they got a little bit better, but I still thought that the Revs, certainly, were playing at a higher level than them throughout the game. But yeah, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make that quick point. But yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, you're exactly right. At the beginning of the game, Philadelphia did come out flat, but I think overall throughout the game, I think Philadelphia came out, especially in the second half, and they tried to get back. They tried to get back into the game, but it was too late. They definitely had control of the game with 59% possession of the ball, but I just thought that the New England Revolution were more effective when they had the ball. They had almost the same amount of shots as the Philadelphia Union, but obviously the New England Revolution just took advantage of the opportunities. They almost had another third goal that hit the bar. So they
I remember I seen that.
They definitely
shot too. Oh yeah.
They definitely could have won that game by a lot more. I think Bruce Arena, he used to be the U.S. national team's coach, and now he coaches the New England Revolution. I thought he had a fabulous game playing against the Philadelphia Union. That was an unbelievable win. So from that, the New England Revolution moved on to face Orlando City, and that game happened on Sunday, November 29th at 3:30 p.m., I believe. And the New England Revolution shocked the world again.
Again, yes. Yes, another one.
They won three.
Another one.
They won 3-1 against Orlando City. I was watching that game right before we are parting now, and it was another unbelievable game. The Orlando City team, which finished third in the Eastern Conference, they played okay, but I think New England Revolution just had a lot more energy. They came out fast. They came out and played really fast, and I just think Philadelphia. Orlando just couldn't get back into the game. And to make things worse, Orlando had a red card at some point during the game. And so they were playing with 10 men. They were playing with one man, one less man than the Revolution. And then the third goal happened after that. And then that was the end of that game.
It was over.
Orlando had a penalty, which was a chance to bring them back into the game. Nani, which is the Portugal international, he missed the penalty, and so right now the New England Revolution are in the semifinals. One more game to get to the final, which is impressive.
That's awesome.
But that is great. I know that is wonderful, man.
Yeah. So let's go Revs. As far as the MLS Cup semifinals goes, Orlando City played New England Revolution, and like I said, Revolution advanced. Columbus played Nashville. Seattle Sounders played FC Dallas. Sporting KC played Minnesota. So there's some good MLS action going on. That's going to be interesting. And I believe the semifinal game for the New England Revolution we played Saturday. The the opponent will be revealed in the middle of the week. Last thing before we move on.
Vlad, real quick, I just want to ask you a quick question about the Revs. How far do you think this team can go now that they've had a couple of big upset wins against top seeds in the Eastern Conference?
Two upset wins. That's all you need. What else do you need? You get to you upset two teams. Then the possibilities are endless.
Absolutely.
You took out the number one team. You took out the number three team. The possibilities are endless. Every team is scared of you right now.
Absolutely, as they should be. Facts.
Yeah. Last but not least, Diego Armando Maradona, the soccer legend, the god of soccer, the guy that scored the only goal with a hand that was allowed, the guy that won goal of the century, a goal that he scored against New England, against England in the 1986 World Cup, the guy that won Argentina. He literally carried Argentina on his back in the 1986 World Cup and won them the World Cup. He took Napoli to two Italy Serie A championship. He also won the Europa League for them. It's a guy that anybody that watches soccer just knows, and he impacted the world of soccer throughout the week. Many teams did so many tribute to him. It's a sad day in football. It's a sad week in football. But long live Diego. Like they say, legends never die. And yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man. For
That's
sure.
Absolutely. R.I.P.
For sure.
Diego Maradona.
Yeah, man.
Legends forever.
Yeah. Before we move on to the question of the week, wanted to touch up on something for sure. I feel like yesterday was, some unexpected stuff happened yesterday. We had a boxing match that was scheduled that I didn't even plan to watch like that, but I ended up watching it. And I think, from the reaction of the world, I think a lot of people watched that last night. And I'm talking about the Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. exhibition match from Triller that they had last night. Mike Tyson came out and did his thing, but I think the biggest thing, of the night, the biggest story of the night was our guy from the NBA, Nate Robinson, and he faced Jake Paul last night. Oh, is his name Jake Paul, Logan Paul? It's like Jake Logan Paul.
Jake Paul.
Okay. Right. And Nate Robinson got knocked the fuck out, man. Like I was doing
oh man, that was comical, laughable.
A Mike Tyson impersonation, like Jake Paul beat his ass. He beat his ass good. Did you guys watch it? And what did you think before that? And was the outcome what you thought?
Yeah, I watched it. I didn't know what to expect. I did see some of the footage of Jake Paul, and he looked like the better fighter. I just didn't think that Nate had a chance to win, but I thought he was gonna fight a lot better than he fought. He was fighting out there like a kid that was just throwing punches at an adult or something. You know what I mean? Like he was just running. I don't know. It was weird to watch. I was watching it and I was asking myself, what am I watching? Like he's literally just running to the guy with he's not even trying to stand and try to play any defense or play anything. He no technique at all. He was just throwing punches like it was a hood fight. You know what I mean? And he was trying to grab Jake Paul, and it's almost like, yo, this is not MMA. This is boxing. You know what I mean? And it's definitely sad, but it was also funny to see him get knocked out.
Yeah.
I didn't really get to see too much of the fight, but I did see that clip though of him getting knocked out, and yeah, that was hysterical, man, and it absolutely comical from from what I saw. Like I certainly thought his effort was disappointing, kind of like what you guys said in Nate Robinson. Certainly was as Kevin Hart would say, he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, he certainly did feel like he was prepared for this fight, and didn't really know what he was getting himself into, and and certainly Jake Paul looked like an actual boxer and looked like he'd actually been well prepared in training and has been working and getting ready for this fight, and he certainly just outboxed him in every way, in every aspect, in way, shape, or form. I certainly thought that they was gonna put up a better effort and a little bit more of a fight, but he just, like you guys said, he looked lost out there. Like he didn't look like he knew what he was doing, and he kind of looked like scared when Jake Paul was just looking like a man amongst boys and just absolutely throwing shot after shot on him, and Nate wasn't really throwing anything back. So good for Jake Paul that he won. He certainly deserved to win that fight. He was by far the better boxer and better fighter that night, and did his thing. So congrats to Jake Paul on winning the fight last night.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys know I'm a boxing fan. I actually listen to a lot of boxing commentary. So I do listen to Blue Blood Sports TV. What do you call it? There's a lot of guys, Showbiz the Adult. These are like big name YouTubers on YouTube that actually get a lot of views, and they do a lot of boxing commentary. Even Teddy Atlas, who has a podcast himself. So I knew about Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, if you've been watching, he also fought this kid KSI sometime last year for a celebrity boxing match, and he lost that fight. But it wasn't like he was getting beat up out there. I think he lost by decision. But he did his thing out there. And a lot of people asked me about Nate Robinson, man. And the main thing they kept telling me was, yo, he's ex-NBA. He used to play football. And I said, yo, the right hook don't give a damn if you're ex whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Facts, for real.
And I actually posted on ProFans_Sports 2 weeks ago on November 17th. There was this sparring session with Logan Paul in it, and he was knocking dudes out. And I said, Nate Robinson is supposed to fight this guy. Good luck, you know what I'm saying? And I just knew he was going to get destroyed in there. You know what I'm saying? They came out. They said he's been training. He's been training for 2 days. He's trained 2 days a week for like 2 months or something like that. No, not 2 days a week. 2 times a day for the last like 2 months or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool, but you don't just like train to go in and fight somebody if you've never done it before. You know what I'm saying? First of all, this guy, Jake Paul, he trains with UFC guys, and he was a wrestler in school. He was an athlete in school as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he was a slouch. Nate Robinson came out. He was scared, man. From the second he was out there.
He did fight scared. Oh, yeah.
And like Vlad was saying, man, he was fighting like a kid out there, running to this dude, clinching, which is what he was supposed to do. If you saw the Mike Tyson fight, you saw Roy Jones clinch a lot. You know what I'm saying? And that's because he knew, like, yo, these hits, if I have separation with Mike Tyson, he's going to knock me out. You know what I'm saying? And I saw it looked like what happened was Nate Robinson's corner told him, yo, you got to stay close to this guy. You know, you can't, because he has a reach advantage. You know, you can't be back, you know, far enough. He's going to catch you with that hook, you know. So he tried to do that, but he didn't have any offense and he didn't have very great defense as well, you know. And most fighters, when they get knocked out, is when they're about to like wind up to get a hit in, and then a hit comes in first, and that's exactly what happened to him. And you know, it was disappointing because this guy actually got a boxing license to do this. He actually had to get a license to be able to fight.
Who, Nate Robinson?
Yes.
Really?
You know,
anybody that needs to box, you need to get a license.
You have to get a license, and they actually gave this guy a license. You know, and this is not a sport you just go into. A lot of athletes, you know, they always say like, yo, if I did this, yo, you know, I'd be so good at this sport. You know what I'm saying? I can remember Brandon Marshall actually said that if he trains hard enough, he could take on what's his name? Wilder. And I was just like,
what?
You know, like this is
he could take on and beat up Wilder if he trained and actually worked his ass up and
because he's been, you know, a football player and he has the build, and really that shit don't matter, man. Like if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna get knocked out. And that kid Jake Paul, it's not like he's a pro boxer himself either, but you can see he's been training for like 3 years, you know. And clearly Nate Robinson, he called out the wrong guy, you know.
Sure did. Oh yeah, absolutely. And he certainly made a big time mistake that I'm sure he's regretting now.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So let's get into I mean, I just wanted to see your thoughts on that because that's something that's going viral right now, and I want to make sure
it is, man.
Heard our thoughts on you know the situation that happened with Nate Robinson. You know, the Mike Tyson fight, it came to a draw, but that was bull crap because Mike Tyson won that. Like he clearly won that. You know, really nothing else you could say about that.
Why did they call it a draw? I never knew that was even possible, John, that you can actually call a boxing match a draw. I never even heard of that before. Like, I thought they were going to make a decision and, you know, and decide on a winner. So I'm just wondering. I didn't really watch the fight, but I just from your perspective, I want to know why you think they decided to make it a draw.
I mean, first of all, it wasn't a real fight. It was an exhibition fight. You know, it was supposed to be for charity, but those guys actually got paid for it. Mike Tyson made $10 million last night. Okay. And Roy Jones, he could have made up to $3 million last night. I don't know what his purse was. $1 million was guaranteed. And, you know, he had to survive certain rounds to be able to get the rest of the money. So his purse was $1 to $3 million. So, you know, we'll see at the end what that is. But, you know, other than that, he'll get like money in the pay-per-view shares that they obviously sold a lot of shares last night.
Right.
A lot of people watched it because it is Mike Tyson. You know how much Jake Paul and Nate Robinson made last night? You know how much Nate Robinson got paid to get knocked out last night?
No, how much?
$600.
What?
Yeah.
$600 to get embarrassed in front of the whole country and knocked out the way he did last night. $600 for that? Not even a mil?
No, not even a mil. But you know, they get money from the pay-per-view shares as well. So that's gonna give them some money, more. But for the fight itself, they only got $600. We saw Buddha Jack versus another dude. Buddha Jack won that game, and Ortiz won the first match as well. So that was it for the boxing matches. I wanted to get your reaction from that right there. But let's move on to the question of the week, which, you know, another question is going to be from Eddie Rodriguez, you know, as always. Shout out to Eddie. And his question is, will the issues with the Ravens affect the Ravens versus Steelers game? And I mean, I'm gonna go and answer that for myself. Like, it obviously will be an issue because Lamar Jackson's not able to play, is he?
No, he's not.
So
he's already ruled out for the game.
Obviously, with Lamar Jackson being out, it's definitely gonna be an issue for the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Like you're missing your most. I don't even know who the backup quarterback is. Oh, RG3, right?
RG3, yeah.
RG3. You know, I mean, I actually like RG3, so you know, hopefully he does something. But yeah, that definitely changes things for the Ravens. Period. You know, they're gonna have to rely on their running game, which they've been doing all along anyway. So it's not much of a change, but with Robert Griffin taking the primary role, it's gonna be a little different.
Yeah, Vlad, did you want to give your answer?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously going to affect the game. The game moved from Thursday to Tuesday. The starting quarterback is not going to play. I don't know what else to tell you. It's going to be a different game.
Yeah, you know, I'm with you guys on this one. I mean, it's pretty, you know, obvious and clear as day. And crystal clear that it's gonna affect and impact, you know, the game if, you know, marquee guys like Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram and, you know, and even James Conner for the Steelers be able to play because they all caught, you know, COVID or were in contact, you know, with someone on their teams that, you know, caught, you know, the COVID. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be a different game than we all anticipated. And I'm even still questioning, you know, whether they should even play this game or not. But, I mean, nonetheless, it's certainly going to, you know, have a huge effect because, you know, these guys are going to have to play their backups, their second and third string guys that haven't played that much, you know, this year. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes for, you know, them on Tuesday night. But it's certainly going to be a lot tougher games of both teams being undermanned. But as they say, next man up. So we'll see which team can play better, you know, being short on Tuesday.
The second question is coming from Brian Pacheco of Quincy, Mass. Shout out to Brian for sending us a question.
Brian.
Yeah. And the question is, what is going on with Tom Brady? Is it Arian's system or is it Tom Brady's arm strength? And I think he's alluding to the fact that, you know, Tom Brady hasn't quite looked himself the last couple of weeks. They lost last week, and you know they're struggling on Sunday against. They struggle against Kansas City, which they're actually playing right now. So by the time you hear this, you know the outcome will be there. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think is going on with Brady? And you know, is it Arian system or is something physically going on with Tom Brady?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think Brady's arm strength. He's 42 now, going on 43 or whatever. And
isn't he like 44?
No, he's 43.
He's 43. Okay.
Yeah, he's going on 44. Yeah.
His arm strength is obviously not gonna be the same as it used to be. His downfield accuracy obviously is not gonna be the same. And Arians keep on picking those deep. Those plays with deep shots. I think some of the play calling for Tom Brady have been not inconsistent, to be honest. A lot of time I feel as though they're throwing down the field when they don't have to. They have the whole field to work, and they're just throwing down the field on first down, second down for no reason. I think some of the plays that Tom Brady is comfortable with, they're not calling them, so I do think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit, obviously Brady's not the same guy. He can't throw down the field as well as he used to, but Arians keep on calling those plays down the field as well. So obviously that messes him up. And I feel as though Arians called those plays not even because it's needed. It's not like, it's not like they're on third and 50 and he's calling a play for third and 50. He just calls a down the field play for like a 3rd and 2 or something. You know what I mean? And I think those two things are fighting against each other.
Yeah, I certainly think that it's a combination of things. I think part of it is kind of like what Vlad said is the play calling. That do we know that Tom Brady, he's best at throwing the check down to the guys in the flat or those short intermediate routes. Pretty much anything within 10 yards, he's pretty much money. And I think they've been getting away from those things and, taking way too many shots downfield. I get that's Bruce Arians' offense. That's, the way that he's coached pretty much his whole entire career is being aggressive and taking a lot of, doing a lot of, deep, passes, but that's really not Tom Brady's game at this point of his career. Like, yeah, he can do it, but not as effectively, not as much as he was able to do earlier in his career. So I think there's a disconnect between Arians and, Brady, and particularly, even Brady and his receivers. I think there's a lot of, misconnection going on with Brady and the receivers, that, their chemistry and timing is not right and seems to be off on certain routes, whether Brady's like overthrowing guys or throwing it in the spot that he expects him to be and they're not there, or, guys are dropping balls and not making plays. So I think there's a lot of things that are going on in Tampa and a lot of things that aren't going right for, that offense and for Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. That's holding back. I don't think he's losing arm strength. I just think that he's not really, being as, accurate of, with his throws that, we're used to seeing him. And, he's still trying to get a hold of the offense, and they haven't been on the same page. So I think they just need to get back on the same page, and they should be able to, figure things out. But it was going to take a while, so I'm not too surprised that they struggled to this point and aren't playing well, particularly against the Chiefs as well as the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys said, Brady is 43, man, and I think, he's been losing a little bit every year, for the last few years. I don't think it's like that crazy, you're going to notice it every single game. But I think, like Vlad said, that definitely is a factor for sure. But I don't think it's a factor enough to make it look like it's been looking. I think that's all down to chemistry. That comes down to coaching. One thing that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady had, they kind of like knew what each other wanted to do at certain times, right? And it takes sometimes for a new coach to acclimate to that. And, I think definitely a lot of ego has played some parts of this, because Arians, told us he wasn't going to change the offense for Brady, from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Which I felt like was a mistake, because the guy's been playing for 20 years. You're going to expect him to learn a whole new offense. Like, you're kind of like going backwards if you're doing that, and luckily for Brady, he's, the GOAT, so he's able to pick up offenses and things like that. But, if the stories of other free agents like Brett Favre and Peyton Manning going to the Broncos and Brett Favre to Minnesota, those offenses changed like as soon as they got there, right? And it was up to the quarterback to kind of like install the offense that they wanted to play in, because they garnered that respect. And I don't know why, Bruce Arians didn't just like bow down to that and just decided to go with what Brady was comfortable with, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to help you succeed. If Brady's comfortable, you succeed. You know what I'm saying? And he has the
Right.
weapons enough, to do it. But if you're going to force him to like go down the field on every other pass, it's not his game, and that's never going to be his game. It wasn't his game here, and it's not going to be there, So I think there's definitely a give and take with that whole situation with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. But regardless, we root for him. We wish him nothing but the best. But we're still on the Patriots bandwagon here.
Absolutely, Pats Nation all day, every day.
Yes, sir. And that's gonna take us. Well, again, thank you, Brian Pacheco, Eddie Rodriguez. Please subscribe to the channel. Share this stuff with them. But we're gonna go into the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week.
Yep. So for this week's B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, we have a very special individual that certainly made history and did something special that we've never seen before, and that would be the University of Vanderbilt kicker, Sarah Fuller. So what she did this week was she became the first woman to play and participate in a Power 5 college football game. And now what the Power 5 is, for those who don't know and aren't familiar with the term, that's pretty much the top 5, conferences in college football. So, Vanderbilt, who, now plays in the SEC conference, was playing Missouri this weekend on Saturday. And apparently how she, got on the team was that there was, the kickers that they had couldn't play on Saturday, due to COVID testing. So they pretty much needed a kicker, and she was the, goalkeeper of the soccer team for Vanderbilt. And, certainly she tried out for the team that week since there was an open spot and position on their roster for kicker. And she was able to make and travel with the team since it, like what they saw in her trial. And and then she got to play, and she made a kickoff in the second half of that game to become the first, woman to play in a Power 5 college football game. There've been many people, sports stars and professional athletes that have congratulated her on social media as expected. So I thought it was only right for me to do the same thing. And, since this is a unbelievable and incredible accomplishment, and something that we haven't seen before, and we thought we'd never see, this barrier being broken in college, particularly in college football or in football as a sport. So I certainly think that, this was, this was remarkable what she did. And, it's great that women are, it opens the door for women, in the future for more opportunities for them to be able to play, sports that, men play moving forward. So I'm glad to see this happening, and I'm sure this will be the first of many, women that end up playing in a men's sport, or football, or any other sport, in a men's league moving forward. So once again, congrats to Sarah Fuller on being this week's B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, and that's definitely that B Money lifestyle.
Yeah, facts, man. I actually posted her on @profans_sports on Instagram. Follow that.
Yeah, I've seen that,
yeah. One thing that I saw on ProFan Sports as well as other sports platforms is a lot of dudes talking about how, that kick was weak, and that was nothing, she only got on there because of COVID or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that stuff is just like unnecessary. It's like, man,
It is.
you know, just give, you know, some people their shine when it's time to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to criticize everything. You know, it's not like she's out there, you know, trucking people over. She's out there kicking. You know, like you don't need to be criticizing these things. You know, like it's not like women are taking over the sport. I don't know what they're scared of. Maybe they're scared of something. But it's like, you know, just give her props and move on. You know, it wasn't that big of a deal for you to be, you know, negative about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was a 35-yard kick. Can you go out there and kick it like that? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. For real.
Like half these guys would be nervous, you know, to hit a football field. So congrats to her again, man.
Some of those guys couldn't even kick 20 yards, let alone 35.
Right, you know, and that's going to be it for this week, episode 37 of Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go. As always, if you're watching, if you're listening, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week, and have a good one. Peace out.
Peace. See you next week. Have a good week, everyone. Happy holidays.